You could hear the impatience in every question Stefanski was asked, and you could hear the evasion in every answer. After the Browns' 27-20 loss to the Jets, the storyline isn't a tidy piece of film room analysis anymore. It's a clinic in fan psychology. Poor special teams, late-game mental errors, and a quarterback debate that's gone viral. Kevin Stefanski gave the one kind of response coaches always give when the situation is messy and the stakes are muddied. Don't put me on the record with a definitive timeline, but also don't take the job away from the guy I chose. Translation: we're sticking with Dillon for now, and I'm not committing to anything beyond that. Let's unspool why that non-answer landed so badly. The Browns surrendered a kickoff return and a punt return in the first quarter, a catastrophic start that turned a one-score game into a chase from the first whistle. That exposed a unit problem on special teams that can't be fixed by switching quarterbacks. Then you add 4 penalties in the final 2 minutes, 2 of them entirely avoidable, and suddenly the optics are ugly. The team looks undisciplined, the coaches look indecisive, and the excuse factory kicks into overdrive. Fan impatience meets a juicy target. Shedeur Sanders, the rookie with pedigree, hype, and the kind of name that drives clicks. Stefanski's public posture is consistent. Dillon Gabriel is the starter, and the staff will not speculate. There are reasons to believe him. Gabriel hasn't turned the ball over recklessly, he's learning, and Stefanski clearly values continuity and the developmental arc. But there are also reasons the fan base and media are screaming. Gabriel has been sacked 6 times in that game. The offense struggles to sustain drives, and the team keeps self-inflicting damage on special teams and in late-game situations. If you are a coach, you can argue for process. If you are a fan, process looks like passivity when the product on the field is losing. There's a second ripple complicating the picture: Deshaun Watson. The Browns still have him on IR after 2 Achilles surgeries, and the organization hasn't opened his 21-day practice window. That's a smart payroll and roster management move. You don't rush a $230 million investment back, but it also means the franchise has 3 potential signal callers to juggle: an expensive veteran who may or may not return at full form, a rookie the staff drafted as their starter, and a hyped backup who hasn't played a regular season snap. That's a messy triangle. Each option has trade-offs. Watson brings experience but injury risk and a public relations hangover. Gabriel brings developmental upside but immediate inconsistency. Sanders brings upside, marketability, and a ton of unknowns. Here's what the Browns must reckon with in the next 10 days before the Ravens game: fix special teams, shore up protection, and clarify the evaluation plan. Those are 3 boring sentences that contain the actual strategic pathway forward. 1. Special teams are a coaching problem, not a quarterback problem. 2 return touchdowns in a single quarter are not just bad luck. They're schematic and execution failure. You can't bench Gabriel and expect kickoff coverage to suddenly be competent. That means immediate personnel toggles, technique-focused practice sessions, and likely a tighter script on kickoff and punt alignment. It also means accountability. If the same unit shows up in Week 11, the front office must consider staff changes. 2. Protect the quarterback better. Gabriel took 6 sacks in this game. Whether the issue is communication, alignment, or individual matchups, the result is the same. A rookie pocket presence gets wrecked and the offense stalls. Short-term remedies: quicker developing plays, max protect calls on early downs, and more designed rollouts to reduce blindside exposure. These aren't glamorous fixes, but they'll preserve the evaluation window the staff claims to want. 3. Set an honest timeline for Shedeur, and then stick to it. The current no-comment posture is defensible if it comes with a clear internal plan. What practice reps does Sanders need? Which personnel groupings will he run with? And what criteria will trigger a live game audition? If the organization genuinely believes Gabriel is the best path, it's on Stefanski to prove it with metrics, not platitudes. Completion percentage within 2.5 seconds, pressure-adjusted passer rating, third down conversion rate in a protected scheme. If no metrics improve, the team will have no cover for ignoring public sentiment. Now the reality check. Changing quarterbacks midstream rarely fixes root problems if the underlying support structure, line play calling, special teams, remains broken. Rookies who get parachuted in without protection tend to flame out, and that would be unfair to Sanders and the team. The Browns' smart play is not to swap signal callers haphazardly for theater. It's to create an environment where any quarterback, new or old, can show what he's got without being mauled each snap. For fans, that explanation is unsatisfying. Fans want visible action, a start, a benching, a drop-the-mic moment. For executives, the calculation is different. The franchise must protect future value, both human capital and draft capital, and avoid rushed judgments. The two perspectives collide when a season is already lost, and the only thing left is sorting the pecking order for 2026. Watch for 3 immediate signals in the coming week: whether Bubba Ventrone's special teams units show immediate correction, whether the offensive line and play calling reduce sack numbers, and whether the team publicly outlines a concrete plan for evaluating Sanders. Those 3 signs will tell you whether the Browns are doing real work behind the scenes or buying time with vague coaching platitudes. Also watch Deshaun Watson's window. If the Browns open his 21-day window, they signal urgency, but also the willingness to gamble on an injured veteran. If they wait, and they seem likely to, it's a vote for patient development and a tacit acknowledgement they're not contending this year. Either way, public patience will continue to evaporate. Finally, there's the human side. These are kids and men with careers and futures on the line. Shedeur has to train like he'll start next snap. Gabriel has to improve like his job depends on it. Stefanski has to coach like he knows the timeline he's selling to the public. Ownership in the front office will feel the heat if the Browns continue to lose while the quarterback debate boils over. At a certain point, process becomes the enemy of perception, and perception is currency in sports. Bottom line, Stefanski's "don't speculate" line is understandable, but it's not enough. The Browns need visible fixes and measurable evaluation criteria now. If the staff wants Gabriel to be the answer, prove it with tape and adjustments. If not, give Sanders a staged, protected audition and see what you have. Doing nothing or doing PR speak will only accelerate the backlash and make the eventual decision more painful. The next game against Baltimore will be the first true test of whether Cleveland is committed to structural fixes or whether this organization will keep spinning on the quarterback carousel while the season quietly dies. You ever watch a team and feel the air change, not because of one big play, but because a dozen small things all decide to fold the same way? That's Cleveland right now. Kevin Stefanski, he answered a question the way coaches always try to dodge it, with a tiny crack of possibility. I'm not sure if that's what we're doing. And that one sentence handed the city another week of wondering whether Deshaun Watson's long road back is about to change everything or nothing at all. Sigh. The practical reality is blunt. The Browns aren't opening Watson's 21-day practice window this week. The team will give the rehab more time before forcing a decision that either activates him or ends his season. That choice buys medical prudence, roster flexibility, and, yes, more noise. Fans who want immediate drama see delay as evasion. The front office sees it as risk management. Both views are defensible. Yahoo Tetao. Let's put the scoreboard on the table. Dillon Gabriel started Sunday and finished 17 of 32 for 167 yards and 2 touchdowns in a 27-20 loss to the Jets. Those box score numbers don't tell the whole story. They hide the sacks, the pressure, the late-game mistakes, but they also explain why the crowd keeps chanting for Shedeur Sanders. Flashes without consistent execution make for a very loud fan base. BeaconJournal.com. What really sank the Browns that day wasn't one miserable drive. It was special teams doing something historically bad. New York took advantage of 2 returns in a single quarter, a 99-yard kickoff by Kenny Nwangwu and a 74-yard punt by Isaiah Williams, and suddenly the game's grammar changed. Plays that would normally be about play calling and timing turned into a test of field position triage. When special teams gives up 2 scores like that, it's not a fluke. It's a structural failure that infects strategy, confidence, and clock management. Reuters. So what's the story here? There are 3 overlapping crises: medical uncertainty around Watson, developmental doubt with Gabriel, and operational collapse in special teams. Each feeds the other. You delay Watson and the quarterback controversy simmers. You stick with Gabriel and the fans grumble for Shedeur. You lose on special teams and the odds shrink for anyone to find rhythm. It's a triangle with no comfortable center. Let's zoom in on the quarterback choices because that's the theater everyone's watching. There are reasons Stefanski appears cautious. Watson's comeback from 2 Achilles surgeries in a short span is unprecedented in its uncertainty. Once you open that 21-day window, you start a legal and mechanical countdown that forces action. If Watson's body isn't truly ready, right, rushing him back does long-term damage to a $230 million contract and to the player himself. That's the ledger the front office is looking at when it steps on the brakes. Yahoo Thao. On the other hand, the Browns have 2 rookies under contract who are trying to become answers, not just auditioning for headlines. Gabriel's mobility and flashes give the roster something to build on, but his 5 starts have been a mixed bag. The protection around him has been inconsistent, and that makes raw evaluation hard.